wake up to a text from your SP Inst messages while you sleep. Imagine opening your eyes in the morning, reaching for your phone, and seeing the one notification you've been longing for, a heartfelt text from your specific person. Your heart races, not because you're surprised, but because deep within you already knew it was coming. Before the message appeared on your screen, it first existed in your consciousness. Every visible result begins as an invisible assumption, and the conversation you desire is no exception. Tonight is not about hoping someone finally remembers you. It is about becoming the version of yourself who naturally receives love, attention, affection, and communication. The outer world is always responding to the inner story you consistently tell yourself. If your mind has been repeating silence, distance, or rejection, then that is the reality you continue to experience. But the beautiful truth is that you can change the story right now. The moment you replace fear with certainty, longing with fulfillment, and waiting with expectation, you begin moving into a completely different reality. As you prepare for sleep, understand that your subconscious mind is listening more carefully than at any other time of the day. The thoughts and emotions you carry into sleep become the blueprint your mind accepts as true. So instead of imagining another night without contact, picture yourself smiling as you read a loving message from your specific person. Hear the notification sound. See their name lighting up your screen. Read every word slowly. Feel the warmth, excitement, relief, and gratitude as though it has already happened. Do not imagine it as something that might happen tomorrow. Experience it as something that is already yours. The subconscious does not respond to desperate wishing. It responds to conviction. When you fall asleep convinced that you are loved, remembered, missed, and chosen, you awaken in harmony with that assumption. Tonight, you are not trying to make someone text you. You are awakening the version of yourself for whom loving communication is natural, effortless, and inevitable. Release every doubt, silence every fear, and allow your imagination to become more real than your circumstances. As this message continues, open your heart completely, because the reality you have been waiting for begins with the state you choose now, and every assumption planted in faith has the power to bloom into an experience that feels nothing short of extraordinary. The first and most important shift you must make is to assume that the message you desire already exists. This is not about pretending or forcing yourself to believe something that feels impossible. It is about recognizing that every experience first begins as an inner assumption before it becomes an outer fact. Long before a text appears on your screen, it is born in your imagination. Long before your specific person reaches for their phone, your consciousness has already selected the version of reality in which that conversation naturally unfolds. Stop treating the silence as evidence that nothing is happening. Silence is not the end of your story. It is simply the space between the planting of the seed and the appearance of the harvest. Your only responsibility is to remain to the assumption that you are already loved, remembered, and joyfully contacted. When you repeatedly identify yourself as someone who is naturally prioritized, valued, and desired, your inner world begins to stabilize around that truth. The moment your assumptions change, your emotional reactions change. You stop checking your phone every few minutes because you no longer feel that your happiness depends on a notification. Instead, you carry a quiet confidence that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. That confidence becomes your new state of being. Imagine yourself lying comfortably in bed tonight. Your mind is calm, your breathing is steady, and instead of replaying memories of distance or wondering why they have not reached out, you gently imagine your phone lighting up with their name. You see the message clearly. Perhaps it simply says, "I've been thinking about you," or "I miss you," or "Can we talk?" The exact words matter less than the feeling they create within you. Feel your heart fill with relief, joy, gratitude, and certainty. Smile as if the message has already arrived, because in your inner world it has. Stay with that feeling until it becomes natural. Let it become more familiar than disappointment ever was. The subconscious accepts what you repeatedly feel to be true, and once it accepts a new identity, your outer experiences begin reflecting it. Refuse to entertain conversations in your imagination where they ignore you or reject you. Replace every unwanted scene with one that confirms your desired reality. If doubt whispers that nothing has changed, answer it by returning to your chosen assumption. Your power has never been in controlling another person. It has always been in choosing the state from which you live. The world faithfully mirrors the identity you consistently occupy. If you occupy the identity of someone waiting to be chosen, you continue experiencing waiting. But if you occupy the identity of someone who is already cherished and naturally contacted, life begins organizing itself around that assumption. Go to sleep each night with peaceful expectation instead of anxious hope. Wake each morning with gratitude before you even look at your phone. Whether the notification is already there or arrives later in perfect timing, refuse to abandon the reality you have accepted within. Live your day with confidence. Speak to yourself with kindness. And carry yourself as someone whose relationship is already unfolding beautifully. The unseen always precedes the seen. Every loving message, every heartfelt conversation, every unexpected call, and every joyful reunion begins as a quiet decision within your own consciousness. Hold firmly to that decision. Let it become your dominant belief. The more natural it feels to you, the more naturally it expresses itself through your world. Your assumption is the beginning, the bridge, and the fulfillment of the experience you seek. Tonight, fall asleep knowing that the version of you who wakes up to loving communication already exists, and every peaceful assumption you embrace draws your awareness closer to that reality. The greatest gift you can give yourself before sleep is not another hour of overthinking, replaying old conversations, or wondering what your specific person is doing. It is the gift of entering sleep with the feeling that you are already loved, already remembered, and already chosen. The moments just before you drift into sleep are incredibly valuable because your conscious mind begins to relax, allowing your subconscious to accept the ideas and emotions you consistently entertain. Instead of ending your day with fear, let your final thoughts become a celebration of the relationship you desire. Close your eyes and imagine yourself waking up naturally the next morning. Reach for your phone without anxiety, without urgency, and without the need to force anything. See your specific person's name appearing on your screen. Imagine reading a warm, loving message that makes you smile from the heart. It does not matter whether the words are long or short. What matters is the feeling they awaken within you. Feel the excitement of knowing I wanted to reach out. Feel the peace of realizing that communication flows effortlessly between you. Feel the gratitude of experiencing what once seemed distant. Stay with those emotions until they become more familiar than doubt. Your subconscious responds most deeply to feeling, not to endless repetition without emotion. The emotion is what gives life to the assumption. As you rest in that feeling, stop worrying about how the message will arrive or what events must happen first. You do not need to solve the bridge of events. You do not need to predict the timing, the circumstances, or the exact sequence that brings everything together. Your responsibility is simply to remain loyal to the end result. The unseen intelligence of life can arrange opportunities, conversations, realizations, and moments that your logical mind could never plan. Allow it to work without interference. Every time you are tempted to wonder why nothing has happened yet, gently return to the feeling that it has already happened. Let your imagination become your sanctuary instead of your battlefield. If memories of past disappointment try to return, thank them for teaching you what you no longer choose to believe, then replace them with a new inner experience. See yourself smiling as you reply to your specific person's message. Imagine the conversation becoming easy, warm, respectful, and joyful. Hear yourself laughing. Feel the comfort of knowing that love no longer feels uncertain. The more often you experience this inner reality, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, you stop imagining it as something you are trying to achieve and begin accepting it as something that simply belongs to you. That is the transformation that changes everything. When your identity changes from someone hoping for contact to someone who naturally receives loving communication, your reactions begin to change. You stop chasing reassurance because you already feel secure within yourself. You stop checking your phone out of fear because your peace no longer depends on immediate evidence. Instead, you carry quiet confidence throughout your day, trusting that what you accepted inwardly is moving toward visible expression. This confidence is not based on arrogance or wishful thinking. It is based on the understanding that your inner state is the foundation of your experience. Before you sleep tonight, release every timeline, every deadline, and every fear that says it must happen in a certain way. Let your final moments be filled with appreciation for the love that is already alive within your imagination. Fall asleep smiling, knowing that you have impressed your subconscious with the reality you choose to live. Wake up with expectation instead of doubt, gratitude instead of anxiety, and certainty instead of fear. Whether the message appears overnight or unfolds through perfect timing, remain faithful to the feeling that you are loved, valued, remembered, and joyfully contacted. Every peaceful night spent in this state strengthens your new identity, and every morning becomes another opportunity to witness your inner assumptions, expressing themselves in the outer world with remarkable and beautiful consistency. One of the most powerful transformations you can experience is releasing the need to chase, control, or force communication, and instead becoming the version of yourself who naturally receives it. Many people unknowingly spend their days sending energy into the very absence they wish to escape. They constantly check their phone, analyze every moment of silence, reread old conversations, search for hidden meanings, and wonder why their specific person has not reached out. Although these actions seem harmless, they often reinforce the belief that communication is missing. Your attention is continually placed on what you do not have, instead of what you have already accepted within. The moment you recognize this pattern, you gain the power to change it. Rather than asking, "Why haven't they texted me?" begin asking, "How would I think, feel, and live if I already knew they loved communicating with me?" That simple question redirects your awareness from lack to fulfillment. Imagine a version of yourself who never questions whether they are important. This version wakes up feeling appreciated, valued, attractive, and unforgettable. They do not need constant reassurance because their confidence is rooted within. They naturally expect kindness, affection, respect, and loving communication because that expectation has become part of their identity. Spend time each day becoming familiar with this version of yourself. Walk with their confidence, speak with their calmness, smile with their certainty, make decisions from their perspective. When you embody this new identity consistently, your outer experiences begin reflecting it in ways that often seem surprising, but are actually the natural result of your inner transformation. As night approaches, prepare yourself for sleep by releasing every urge to control the outcome. You do not need to calculate when your specific person or imagine endless scenarios about what they may be thinking. Instead, close your eyes and enter the feeling that everything has already worked out beautifully. See yourself waking peacefully the next morning, reaching for your phone with complete ease, and discovering a loving message waiting for you. Feel your heart fill with gratitude, not because something impossible happened, but because you are experiencing what already felt true within. Notice how relaxed this version of you feels. There is no panic, no desperation, and no fear of rejection. There is only quiet certainty. This peaceful certainty is one of the greatest signs that your identity has shifted. Love grows most naturally in an atmosphere of confidence, not anxiety. Communication flows most freely when you are no longer resisting the present moment with fear. Every time doubt appears, remind yourself that circumstances are temporary reflections of previous assumptions, not permanent truths. You are free to choose a new assumption at any moment. If your mind tries to replay memories of unanswered messages or painful silence, gently replace those scenes with new ones. Imagine your specific person smiling as they type to you. Imagine the conversation flowing with honesty, warmth, and affection. Hear them expressing appreciation for your presence in their life. Feel yourself responding with calm happiness instead of relief that something finally happened. The goal is not merely to receive one message, it is to become someone for whom loving communication is normal, consistent, and effortless. This inner stability changes the way you experience every relationship because your worth is no longer dependent on another person's behavior. You become the source of your own peace, and from that peace, your assumptions gain tremendous power. Trust that life can arrange conversations, opportunities, and moments beyond anything your logical mind can predict. Your responsibility is not to manipulate the journey, but to remain faithful to the destination. Every evening, release the need to chase and embrace the confidence of already being loved. Every morning, wake with the expectation that good news belongs to you. As this new identity becomes familiar, your outer world will increasingly reflect the quiet conviction you have cultivated within, and the loving communication you once hoped for will begin to feel like the most natural expression of the reality you chose to live. The moment you decide to become the version of yourself who is naturally loved, remembered, and prioritized, everything begins to change from the inside out. Lasting transformation is never about changing another person's mind. It is about changing your own identity. Every relationship you experience is filtered through the beliefs you hold about yourself. If you secretly believe you are difficult to love, easy to forget, or always the one left waiting, those assumptions quietly influence your thoughts, emotions, and expectations. Without realizing it, you begin looking for proof that confirms those beliefs. A delayed reply feels like rejection. A quiet evening feels like abandonment. An unanswered message becomes evidence that something is wrong. Yet the moment you adopt a new identity, you stop interpreting life through the lens of fear. Instead, you begin expecting love because you see yourself as someone who naturally deserves it. This is the foundation of every meaningful change. Rather than asking your specific person to become more attentive, first become the person who fully expects attention. Instead of hoping they remember you, identify yourself as someone who is unforgettable. Instead of wondering whether you matter, accept that your presence is deeply valued. These are not empty affirmations designed to convince yourself of something false. They are conscious choices about the identity you wish to occupy. Every great change begins with an internal decision. Once that decision becomes consistent, your emotions follow. Once your emotions align, your actions become calmer, your reactions become healthier, and your entire presence begins reflecting confidence rather than uncertainty. As you prepare for sleep tonight, allow yourself to step completely into this new identity. Close your eyes and imagine yourself waking up, feeling peaceful and secure. Reach for your phone with a smile, already knowing that loving communication belongs in your life. Picture your specific person's name appearing on the screen. Read their message slowly. Feel the joy, warmth, and appreciation flowing through you. Then continue the scene. Imagine yourself responding naturally, without fear or desperation. Imagine the conversation unfolding with ease, respect, laughter, and affection. Notice how comfortable you feel, because this experience is no longer extraordinary to you. It feels normal. That feeling of normality is the secret. Whatever becomes normal within eventually becomes familiar without. Do not make the desired message into something rare or impossible. Make it ordinary, make it expected, make it part of your natural experience. Throughout your day, carry yourself as someone who is deeply loved. Walk with quiet confidence. Speak kindly to yourself. Celebrate your own value before anyone else reflects it back to you. Refuse to let temporary circumstances define your permanent identity. If you encounter moments of silence, do not immediately assume something has gone wrong. Instead, remind yourself that your chosen reality is already unfolding behind the scenes. Stay loyal to your new self-concept. Protect it from doubt, just as you would protect a precious seed that has already been planted. You would never dig up a seed every hour to check whether it is growing. You simply water it, trust the process, and allow time to reveal what has already begun. Your new identity deserves the same patience. Every loving assumption you repeat, every peaceful night you spend in gratitude, and every confident morning you begin with expectation strengthens this inner foundation. Eventually, you stop feeling like someone trying to attract a message and start feeling like someone whose relationships naturally overflow with love, attention, and communication. That is the real victory. The text message becomes a reflection of the person you have become rather than the source of your happiness. Your confidence no longer depends on your phone because it lives within you. From that place of inner certainty, your world begins reflecting the identity you consistently embrace. Wake each day knowing you are cherished, fall asleep knowing you are chosen, and allow your unwavering self concept to shape the loving reality that unfolds before your eyes in ways more beautiful than you once imagined possible. Every new morning is an invitation to awaken not only from sleep but also into the reality you have already accepted within. The way you begin your day has a remarkable influence on the state you continue to occupy. Many people wake up and immediately search for evidence. They reach for their phone with anxious hands, hoping that today will finally be different. If they do not see the message they expected, disappointment quickly replaces hope, and they unknowingly return to the old identity of waiting, questioning, and doubting. But there is another way to begin your morning, and it is the way of quiet confidence. Before you even unlock your phone, remind yourself that your inner reality is always greater than temporary appearances. Whether the message has already arrived during the night or is still making its way through the perfect sequence of events, your assumption remains unchanged. You are loved, you are remembered, you are valued. You are naturally someone your specific person enjoys contacting. These truths are not dependent on what your eyes see in this moment. They are the foundation from which your experiences grow. Instead of beginning your day by asking, "Did they text me?" begin by saying, "Everything is unfolding in my favor. Loving communication belongs to me." Feel the peace those words create. Let gratitude rise before you seek proof. Gratitude is one of the clearest signs that you are already living from the end rather than chasing it. Imagine yourself smiling because you know your desired reality is already alive. Carry that smile into your morning routine. As you brush your teeth, prepare breakfast, travel to work, or move through your daily responsibilities, continue thinking from the perspective of the version of yourself who is already enjoying a beautiful relationship. If you imagine receiving a loving message later in the day, welcome that possibility with excitement instead of impatience. If the notification appears unexpectedly, receive it with calm joy because it simply confirms what you accepted long before it became visible. Throughout the day, guard your inner conversations carefully. If fear whispers that too much time has passed, answer it with confidence instead of argument. Gently return to your chosen assumption that everything is working together perfectly. Refuse to rehearse stories of rejection, distance, or silence. Instead, replay scenes of love, appreciation, heartfelt conversations, and mutual affection. Let your imagination become the place where your desired relationship feels completely natural. The more familiar these scenes become, the less power doubt has over you. Remember that you are not trying to convince another person to love you. You are becoming conscious of the version of reality in which that love already exists. Every thought you consistently entertain shapes the identity you carry, and that identity influences how you experience the world around you. Therefore, choose thoughts that support your peace rather than your fear. Choose assumptions that strengthen your confidence rather than weaken it. Every evening, return once again to the feeling of fulfillment before sleep. Imagine your specific person's name appearing on your screen. Hear the notification sound. Read their loving words. Feel your heart overflow with appreciation as though it has already happened. Then drift into restful sleep with complete trust that the unseen is arranging everything perfectly. Day after day, remain faithful to this inner state. Do not measure your progress by the clock or by temporary circumstances. Measure it by your growing sense of peace, confidence, and certainty. Those qualities reveal that your identity has changed, and once your identity changes, your outer experiences naturally follow. The loving text message you desire is not something distant that you must chase. It is the visible reflection of the invisible reality you have consistently embraced. Wake each morning with expectation instead of fear. Move through your day with confidence instead of doubt, and fall asleep each night in the feeling that love is already yours. As this becomes your way of living, every sunrise becomes a reminder that your assumptions are creating your tomorrow, and every notification that arrives serves as another beautiful reflection of the love, certainty, and fulfillment you first chose within yourself.